वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु महाविद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay, we'll start with 15th chapter. Ready then? Okay. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Urdhvamoolamadashaka Ashvatam Bahuravyayam Chandasi yasya parnani Yastam Veda Savedavid Adashchordam Prasitarthasya Shaka Guna Pravadda Vishaya Pravala Adashchamula Nanusamtatani Karmanubandhini Manushya Loke Narupamasye Tato Palabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nachasampratishta Ashvatamenam Suvirudamulam Asanga Shastre Vidudena Chitva Tata Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuya Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yatta Pravritti Prasita Purani Nirmana Moha Chita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama Dvande Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Sanya Gacchanta Buddha Padamavyayam Tat Na Tad Vasayate Suryo Na Shashanko Na Pavaka Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tadama Paramam Mama Mamevamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati Shariram Yadavapnoti Yaksha Patkramatishvara Grihitvaitani Sanyanti Vayu Gandhani Vashaya Shotram Chakshusparshanam Cha Rasanam Granameva Cha Adhishtaya Manaschaya Vishayanupasevata Utkramantam Statam Vapi Bunjanam Vagunamvitam Vimudanam Pashyanti Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusha Yatanto Yoginashchenam Pashyanti Atmana Vishtatam Yatanto Bhirkatatmanam Nenam Pashyanti Chetasa Yadaditya Gatam Tejo Jagadvashayate Kila Yakshar Damasi Yakshagno Tattejo Vidhi Mamaka Gama Vesha Chabhutani Sarayamyahamojasa Krishnami Choshadi Sarva Somo Bhudra Rasadmaka Aham Veshwanaro Bhutva Pranina Dehamashata Pranapana Samayutta Pachanyanyam Chaturvidam Sarvasya Chaham Radhisannivishto Mata Svatirnyanopohanam Cha Vedescha Sarvir Ahameva Vedyo Vedanta Kurt Veda Videva Chaham
Dvaimo Purusho Loke Shara Eva Cha Shara Sarvani Bhutani Bhutasto Shara Uchyate Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatme Tudarata Yo Lokatayama Visya Vibharta Vyaya Ishvara Yasmacharamati Aksharadapi Chotama Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratita Purushottama Yogamevam Samudo Janati Purushottamam Sa Sarva Vidyajati Mam Sarva Bhavena Bharata Iti Guhyatamam Shastram Idam Uktam Mayanaga Etad Budva Buddhimamshat Krita Krityascha Bharata
Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Subram Brahma Vidya Gyan Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushottam Yogo Nama Panchadashvodhyaya Krishna Arpanamastu. जब क्लास स्टार्ट होगी तो okay, let's go back to our chapter 9. Okay. So we are in section of this where one attains what one strives for, right? So we were on 27th. We were on 27th, right? We finished 20. We did 26th and 27th. Yeah, yat karomi yat karoshi. Okay. So in 26 God, so this is like, the bhakti yoga, right? We are going in bhakti yoga. So these 6 chapters are more of devotional. We talk about Saguna Bhagwan, we talk about bhakti yoga. So this one in 26 slok, God says that, if you think about, okay, what should I do? Like, what does the devotion look like? So he mentioned about, it says that Patra Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Like, if you go in the temple and you said, okay, where should I start the bhakti from? What is the first stage of bhakti, right? So first stage of bhakti starts from where you start giving God something. Like, it's not that, okay, showing the love to God, devotion to God. So how do you start it with? So he said, just give me one fruit. It's okay, if you go with one fruit that I'm going to give it to you. So it actually starts with a lot of yoga starts here. Even, what we say that the karma yoga, right? We talk about karma yoga, right? For selfless actions, or devotion to God, or surrendering all our actions, all our results to God. So this is what it says here. Just, whatever you have, just whatever you surrender that to God. Like, this is the first stage. Then you go beyond, like, hey, you're going to be surrendering yourself. You're giving God yourself to God, to yourself, right? So those things. So he mentioned in 26, just a little tiny, starts from there, right? Even one fruit, one leaf, one whatever, but give it with the bhav, right? We talk about those 3 dharas that go, the river goes in human body, the Gyan dhara, the Karma dhara, and the Bhav dhara. So the Bhav dhara that he's saying, he's talking about devotion and love. That's the Bhav dhara. So whatever action you do, whatever Gyan you have, but if you don't use with the right Bhav, it's of no use, right? There is in Ramayana, Sabri is known for the best devotion, given an example as a best devotee to God Ram, right? So what she did is, she was actually, that story, right? So I don't know if Sean knows that story or not. That Sabri and Bhagwan Ram story. Okay. So Sabri was, when Ram Bhagwan came to Sabri, she wanted to offer him best food, right? She was so excited that God came to my house, and she wanted to, give the best food to Ram, but then how would she know that it's the best food, right? So she picked the food from the jungle, and then she wants to offer him the best food. But what she did is to figure out what best food is. Like, it should be sweet, it should be really good. So God doesn't have to chew a lot, or God doesn't have to, it's not sweet enough. What she did is she actually tasted each fruit before giving it to God, right? Now, if you think about that way, like, if you go to our ritual section, right, our the karma kanda section, then you should not even touch the food of God, right? You should not even, this is being, you taste it and you give it to God. That's no in that, right? You cannot even do that, because now first thing is that you tasted it before you surrendered it to God. And in our language we say you did juta to food, so you cannot give it to anybody else, right? So forget about God, you cannot, even your juta, you cannot give it to somebody else. But here Sabri is known for her bhakti. Why? Because of the bhav that she had. The bhav is most important. Though she did the wrong thing, that giving her juta to God, like she was tasting every fruit that was coming out, like she wanted to offer it. So if it was good in taste, she was offering it to God, but if it was bad in taste, she was throwing it away, right? So that matters a lot. And that's what God is saying. It doesn't matter you gave me a food in a silver plate or golden plate, or use the silver spoon or golden spoon. It doesn't matter to him. What matters to him is the bhav, right? The devotion, the how do you surrender it? Like a lot of time we go and we put something in front of God, or surrender it to God, or say I'm going to give it to God. And if we make some good food, we want to give it to God, right? But when the bhav doesn't come with devotion and with love, like how when you bring something, and I think mothers and fathers can understand this a lot. So when you give the food to your child, how much love you feel when you are giving that to your child. The same love when you give it to God. If that devotion and love doesn't come, then it becomes more mechanical task rather than with bhav, right? So that's what God is mentioning here, right? You don't have to give me anything. You just give me love. That's what he's asking for. He's not asking for anything else. Now coming to shlok number 27, where we were last time, we were talking about so 27th shlok was this: whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer as obligation to the oblation, to the sacred fire, whatever you bestow as a gift, whatever you do by way of penance, do that as offering to me. That was the whole shlok for 27. Now think about it. There are 5 things God say here, right? The first thing he said, that whatever you do, so all the action, whatever you do, right? So any actions that you are taking place with your eyes, ears, smell, touch, taste, any sense organ or sense objects you are using, everything. Now the last line is surrender it to me or offer it to me, right? So first is whatever actions you do. So whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you do. Now, do you have this? Do you remember this? We already talked about this in another chapter. Do you guys remember what chapter was that? That we talk about all the action, surrender it to God. What was that? Karma Yoga. Yeah, the chapter number 3, Karma Yoga. So he is actually now bringing Karma Yoga and devotion together, right? We already talked about it, but now he's in that section, he didn't talk about devotion a lot. He just said that surrender it to me or do selfless action. Here he is bringing the devotion bhav to that action, right? So he is saying that devoted to me, right? So whatever you do, the first thing. The second thing, avshnashi. So yat karoshi means work, any action you do, right? Then asnashi, which whatever you consume, right? So whatever you consume, also give it to me. So here is whatever you eat. It's not just eating is consuming, right? We consume from our other sense organs too, right? We consume it from our eyes, whatever sees, right? That is consumption also. Like if we are consuming something that we are seeing it, we can consume that too. Then we are hearing that consumption too, right? Anything that we touch, whatever is impacting us inside, whatever thoughts we are getting, right? Whatever thinking that we are doing, right? That's also consumption, right? Whatever memory we are keeping, that is also keeping it inside, is consumption. So all these things, he said, surrender it to me, right? So then it comes yet johoshi. Johoshi is, in those days, it was taken as a sacrifice, like fire sacrifice. You are giving it in the fire, you are giving oblation in the fire and everything, right? Nowadays, if you really want to talk about it, it is what responses do you give to the world back? That's what it is, right? What are the responses that you are giving it? Any situation come across, right? What responses you are giving? That response also offer it to God. So anything that any situation came, I responded it with joy, right? If somebody talked to me, how I respond back. If some thought came in my mind, how I respond back, right? To the world. So anything that you respond back is also considered as, sacrifice that you're giving in the fire sacrifice, right? In those days we talk about fire sacrifice so that Arjun can connect. But right now we talk about this, whatever response we give it to world, right? So let's say you came across a really bad situation, like you saw a failure in your life, right? Something that really hurt you so much, right? Now how you responded back, right? There are many different ways to respond, right? You can respond with anger, you can respond with jealousy, you can respond with depression, you can respond with any way you want to respond it, right? But now think about it, when devotion and bhav come and you are responding that response to God, how will your response change by thinking about that? How does the response change? Now think about it. The same thing, now you are responding to your failure. Let's say you have a project that failed, right? Or that there is a person who hurt you, or there is a situation that you did not acted well in the situation, right? So all these situations, when you come across your thing, you think about certain project, you think about certain person or thing, you are thinking about that and responding to those things according to that person, that thing, that situation, that project. Now change that project to you are responding back to God, right? Change that person that you are responding back to the God, or you are responding back to the word of God, right? If you see everything is God, then you are responding back. Now think about it, how much your response will change, right? So before, when you are getting jealous, angry, depressed, something, now you change that thought that, okay, God put me in this situation. There are a lot of ways to think that way. Okay, God put me in this situation. There is something that He put me because there is something that He want to either teach me, or probably He's trying to make me more stronger. However, whatever thought God has, it's betterment for me. So I will respond to this situation in that way that I'm responding. Then what happens? All these negativity will go away, right? If you have something, some project failed, or well, how will you respond that? Probably this failed because of something that God wants to teach me, or something because this is not betterment for me. There is something else that could be better for me. This is not going in the right direction for me, right? So there are so many things to respond it back differently, right? When this mindset comes that, hey, I'm responding to, when I'm surrendering it to God, my response should change, then what happens is all these negative thoughts, most of them will go away. For people who are practicing this, everything goes away. But people who are not practicing this, we can try to practice it. So then the third part was Yajjohoshi. How do you respond back to the situation, to sansara, to this world? That's what you surrender to God. Now the fourth one, the dasiyat, yeah. Whatever you give, so whatever you earn more than what you need, right? It's always, then there is a lot of things you have to think about it. I will say whatever you earn more than that, give it away, give it to the somebody who needs it, right? Now what happens in this scenario, everybody will think that how much is the limit, how much should I earn is good for me, right? There is so much, like people can earn use 100,000, 200,000 would be good for that. But somebody who is earning 500,000 million is not good, is not enough for them. So there is no definition of this thing that, oh, how much you earn more than that, how much you need. That definition changes for a lot of people, right? So you have to first figure out what is good for you, right? Then anything other than that, you should give it back, the dasiyat, yeah? So first of all, always give this thing to, we talk about it in the last class also, that wherever you cannot decide, right? Then what do is you give it to the God and say, God, whatever is good for me, let me know what is good for me, right? What is the limit for me? It's very easy to fall into that even this much is not, even $1 million is not good for me, right? It's very easy to slide into that, right? Even knowledge wise, like some people are so behind knowledge that whatever they get, I want to get more, I want to get more. So get more, I want to get more knowledge, or I want to get more wealth, or more money, or more fame. This is not enough fame for me, I want more fame. So it's very easy to slide into that. Now you have to make a decision, right? If you can live in a place where you are not you are able to survive in everyday life, and you can still give it to somebody else, right? That's where, again, I cannot decide for everybody, and I cannot, it's very hard decision to make, because in this world it's very easy to fall into that. Okay, people are going on so many different vacations, and their vacations are so luxurious, and I want to reach there, but point where it comes, where is like, hey, do I can give something to somebody to save that part? I'm not saying that you should not enjoy vacation. You should enjoy vacation, you should enjoy everything, because God gave it to you, right? So you should enjoy that part. But where it can be, if the other person is suffering and it's in front of you, you need to think about that part too. So whenever you do charity, right, there is, sometimes it come across very wrong that we always think like, okay, people who make money is not spiritual. That's not what anywhere in Gita or any of our Shastra says. We do Shri Shuktam. Shri Shuktam is a, it's a, what do you say? It's a rhyme to, it's not, it's a slok which we give it to Lakshmi, and we ask for money, we ask for wealth, right, from Lakshmi Mata. So we are the one who actually do worship money also. It's not that without money everybody can survive. That's what not our scripture says. It says it is important to earn money also. It's important to earn money, but it's also important to give it to somebody who needs it, right? So earning money is not wrong. Whenever Lakshmi comes with Vishnu, that's the money we are asking for. When God comes with Lakshmi Mata, so if the money comes, but money should come with Lord Vishnu, right? It should not come by itself, right? So that's most important thing that our culture teaches us, is like money should come, but God should come with it, and it should be that we can actually give it away also to society. So charity is important, and in Gita it is mentioned many times that charity is also, if you cannot do anything else, then doing charity takes you to the next level of spirituality. So charity is given a very much weightage, or a path that helps you go to the next level of spirituality. So charity is very important. Here also it says that when you give charity, offer it as to giving it to me. So if you are going and giving it to somebody, then what happens is, it's very easy when you give it to somebody. You feel like you are the upper person who is giving, and the person who is you giving it to are lower. And that mindset comes very easily. I'm a bigger person because I'm giving something to somebody. It is very, very easy to come that superiority when you give it to somebody, right? It's human tendency. It comes. You start feeling like, oh, I'm so big that I'm giving this person, and then you start feeling them, making them feel as inferior, and that comes very easily. So to avoid that, this is God has said, when you start taking it as I'm giving it to God, what happens is, the God is omnipresent, he's so big, he's the one who created this whole universe. Then what happens is that superiority complex and inferiority complex doesn't come, right? And it becomes the relationship with God. That's what, when you give charity, it's very easy to come in that way that, oh, I did such a great job, I gave this to this person, oh, I gave this money to this person, right? When you are doing donation, when you are giving it for a loan purpose, it's totally different, right? If you are giving somebody loan, you need to get the money back and stuff like that. But when you're giving it to charity, then at that time, if you don't have that feeling that you're giving it to God, then what happens is that inferiority and superiority complex comes, and that donation doesn't make any positive mark on your development, right? So giving charity also, surrendering it to God. Then he says, yat, what was it? Yat juhosi? Yes, tapasyasi. Okay. So then tapasya, austerity. So anything, any penance, any austerity that you do, also do it for God. So let's say we do lot of vrat, upvas and everything, then surrender that to God. Whatever efforts you put, that's the penance, is the efforts that you put, right? Now it could be efforts for not just staying hungry or not eating or doing meditation for 10 hours. Let's forget about that. Any efforts that you want to put in your life. So let's say I want to study really hard, I want to become a doctor, right? So that effort that you're putting in is also God saying, surrender it to me. So any effort, right? It could be anything, right? Or you want to become a sports person, or you want to play, you want to become what do you say? What?
Name something.
Name anything. Okay, you want to become a cricket player, right? Surrender that. If you're focusing on and you're putting all your energy into it, that also surrender it to God, right? If you want to become a scientist, all these things that you're putting efforts into it. Let's say, even if I'm telling you, if you want to become a wealthy person and you want to put a lot of efforts into it, that efforts also need to be surrendered it to God. If you become the most famous person in the world, right, and you are working so hard to become a famous person, or you want to become whatever stream you pick, that efforts, that penance that you do, like when you want to become a famous or whatever you want to, if you want to become a doctor, you have to study hard. You are waking up 5 in the morning and studying. You are waking up 5 in the morning, and if you want to become a cricket player, you are going to gym or practicing everything. So you are putting efforts into it. That's also penance. That is also austerity that you are using, and that also surrender it to God, devote it to God, those efforts, right? So that's what God is saying. And then it says that all these things, even if we are coming to Gita class, this is our efforts to take the path of spirituality, right? So that efforts also surrender it to God. At the end of the Gita class, we said, we talk about that, hey, we are surrendering this 1 hour to God. This is our worship to God, right? If we are not sitting in the doing Murti Puja, this is our puja to God, right? So we are surrendering this to God, this class to God. So any efforts that you do, you surrender it to God, and that's all. So by doing these processes, the time comes when we stop identifying us as us, and we start identifying as a devotee of God, right? When we start doing all the action and surrendering it to God. There is a story that Sister Teresa was in the dream. She saw the kind of Jesus Christ kind of person in his dream coming towards her, and she asked, "Who are you?" And the Christ says that, "I am Christ, I'm Jesus of Teresa." So that part, when you start surrendering everything at it, God becomes yours, right? Like how Jesus said that, "I'm Jesus of Teresa." So it's even in Nivedita, who was a devotee of Vivekananda Swami and Ramakrishna Paramahans, when she went to India and did a lot of work for Ramakrishna mission. When you see her letters, she signed by saying that Nivedita of Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda. So then the person becomes of God, right? So God also starts saying that, "I am yours. If you are mine, I am yours." So these are 5 things God mentioned that whenever we do, we surrender it to God. So any action does come in your mind that you guys cannot surrender it to God. Any action that you do from morning till evening, anything that comes across that doesn't feel like, okay, how can I surrender this to God? Let's say even cleaning our body, taking bath, anything, right? That also you can surrender it to God, saying that, as you are the temple, this body is temple of you. You reside in me. I want to clean you. I want to keep it clean, so your temple is clean, right? You gave me this body. I have to keep my body clean because it's your temple. You are residing in me. You are residing in this heart. So I have to keep it clean. Cleaning the house, right? Why do we clean the house? Yeah, definitely we want to clean it. But also, how can we surrender it to God? because God, you reside in every single thing here. We want to keep it clean because this is where you reside, right? So anything that comes in your mind, that you cannot do it, right? Now you can say, okay, I'm lying. How can I do that? Surrender that to God. Yeah, you cannot. You should not, right? Would you surrender to God bad things? Because now you know that He is the creator of this universe. He's the one who created me. He's the one who created this universe. Would you lie and give that lie to God? No, right? So what happens is, it's very easy for a nice person to not be spiritual, but it's very hard for a spiritual person not to be nice. Very hard. Because what happens is, you have to follow, that's the foundation, right? We were saying that you have to be nice to be a spiritual. You can be nice but not spiritual. That can happen. But if you are on spiritual path, you have to be nice, because all these things that God is teaching and we are going to be doing it, practicing it, then what happens is, you cannot practice that if you are lying, if you are if you're doing bad to anything, right? If you are stealing something for your own need, then you cannot surrender that to God, right? So then what happens is, you don't want to surrender something bad to God, and that's why then you will stop doing any actions that are bad. You stop doing any charity that is bad. You will stop doing any response to the world that are bad. You will start doing any penance that is bad. You will not start doing that. So again, it is very important for us to follow these to get on the spiritual path, right? So you have to do following this and surrender that to God. So that's what a lot of people sing this shlok for before eating, because it just reminds you, saying thank you to God, as well as saying that whatever I'm consuming, I'm surrendering it to you, right? So that's what a lot of people use this shlok as before the food. You can use this shlok also before doing any action. You can use this shlok also before doing any charity, before starting any extensive work that you're going to be focusing on. You can use this shlok also before doing any initiating anything. So this shlok is reminding us that everything that we do, we should surrender that to God, right? Got it? Good? Okay. Let's move on to next. So this set of three shloks, so that 26, 27 and 28 are showing that, what should we do, how should we do, and what will be the consequences. So now shlok number 28 will talk about what are the consequences that this action that we discussed, like just giving one flower, one food. Now another 26 talks about the first level. When you start the bhakti, you start the bhakti, you start giving devotional objects to God, right? And when I was growing up, this is what my thought process was: going in the temple, giving flowers, giving fruit. That's the bhakti, that's what I wanted to do for God. But then all these things starts coming, like what happens if we don't go to temple every day, or what happens if we don't do murti puja or worship every day. Then God talks about the 27th shlok, where he says that you don't have to always go and do murti puja or do everything. By devoting your action, by devoting your response, by devoting all the charity, by devoting all the penance, by devoting all what you consume, even if you do that with the bhav, with the love, then what happened? You are actually coming to me, surrendering it to me, and that's where you are giving me your devotion, and you are coming to me, right? So So God gives you another way to do it, right? So sometimes we don't sit down in front of God for the whole day, or we don't do those murti pujas that our parents used to do it. We don't do meditation the whole, we are not good at doing meditation, or it doesn't help us doing that. By even doing this every morning till day, we do like thousands of action, thousands of thoughts comes in our mind. Even if we devote 50% of our work also, and God will be happy. Or not just God being happy, but our bhakti, our devotion develops, and we can walk on this spiritual path. Okay, so let's go to verse number 28. Okay. Reha, you want to sing this one?
Sure.
Papa 28.
Okay. Shubha Shubha Phale Evam
Shubha Shubha Phalerevam
Mokshase Karma Bandhane
Mokshase Karma Bandhane
Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma
Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma
Vimukto Mamupashyasi
Vimukto Mamupashyasi.
Together.
Shubha Shubha Phalerevam Mokshase Karma Bandhane Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupashyasi.
Words ready.
Shubha from auspicious, Asubha and inauspicious. Phale results. Evam thus mokshase, you will become free. Karma of work. Bandhane from the bondage. Sannyasa of renunciation. Yoga the yoga. Yuktatma having the mind firmly set on. Vimukta liberated. Mam to me. Upasyasi you will attain.
Okay, awesome. So it says, with your mind thus established in the yoga of renunciation, you will be freed from bondage of action in the form of good and evil results. Thus, freed from them, you will attain me. Right? So, this is the consequences of all the actions that he explained before in the previous shloka. So, what happens is when you start doing that, when you yoga of renunciation means all these action that you are surrendering it to God. When you offer all these action and result, what happens? You get free from the bondage of results of good and bad karma, good and evil, right? Shubha, Ashubha. Those things, you don't get the result of those, right? You are free from bondage. So means you get enlightenment, or you don't get the results. You don't get the rebirth because of the results of karma. So all these actions that you are doing, when this shubh ashubh, all these karmas results doesn't impact you, doesn't give you another life because of that. You can come get another life to spread the knowledge, to do something purposeful that God will specially send you on this earth. But because of the action and results of your action, you don't get birth. Right now we all get birth because of the results of action, right? Now that's life. That's sannyasi, the person who has renounced the world, who is already surrendered it to God, who is enlightened. It is equal to being an enlightened by doing this process, right? So now Shubha Ashubha is very different for different people, right? Shubha Ashubha is very different. So for a bhakta, Shubha and Ashubha becomes like, okay, Shubha is if I can do for God anything, like if I'm devoting, if my bhav is good when I'm doing any action, then it is shubh. But for bhakta, ashubh becomes when evil becomes when I'm not doing anything, thinking about devotion to God, right? So then it becomes ashubh. For jnani, shubh and ashubh becomes, okay, I'm studying Gita every day, but 1 week I don't. Oh, that week become ashubh for me because I haven't done anything towards learning these scriptures, right? There are usually 4 kind of people that we discussed before, right? Pamara is the one who thinks that be merry, live life good, and don't worry about anything else, right? So Pamara is those kind of category of people. Now for them, Shubh Ashubh become, Shubh is that if we have a lot of fun, that's Shubh. And if they go for an event and they don't feel fun, then that's Ashubh for them, right? So people who are thinking about, like, okay, I want to spend a lot of wealth, and I get a lot of wealth, and I can spend a lot of money and a lot of these things, I get a lot of good I can earn a lot. If they don't earn a lot, it becomes ashubh for them. If so then their shubh ashubh are very much constructed in circle of fun and earning and stuff like that. So Pamara kind of people, their shubh ashubh become like, okay, I had this big deal that I should use to, should get this much money, and I didn't get it. It becomes ashubh. It become evil for me, right? So they fall into that part. Now the second kind of people are the people who are vishayi. Vishayi are people who are morally good, right? Morally they follow the dharma in the moral way, but they really want to make sure that everything, also they get what they wish for, right? Their life should be good, peaceful, but also, they should get everything. Like most of us comes in vishayi, like we follow everything, we are moral, we don't do bad things, we follow the rules of government, we follow the rules of society, but we also want our way, like we want to live good life, right? We should have good things around us, we want good, we have some desires to get good objects in our life. So all those vishayi people do follow the dharma. For them, if they follow something but they also get something, is shubha. They follow something and they don't get anything for their selfish need, then it's ashubha, right? Now goes to the next level is sadhak. Sadhak are spiritual seekers, like sadhak. So for them, if they do whatever they do, nishkarma, not asking anything to God for their own personal benefit, that are shubh. But when they fall into something that they had to do this sadhana to get something out of it, that becomes ashubh for them, right? So for sadhaka, whatever takes them close to God is shubh, whatever takes them away from God, that's ashubh, right? Now for enlightened people, there is no ashubh and ashubh. They go beyond shubh and ashubh, right? For them, there is nothing shubh and ashubh. So they don't think about, okay, this is good, this is bad, and I need to, because that doesn't come to, there is no bad or good. Now they go beyond that, right? So it says that when you are bound by chain, so whenever there are action, there is always a consequences, right? So whenever you bound with the chain, now you do good action, then you are bound with a gold chain. Even if the chain is gold or metal, it doesn't matter. Chain is always chain, right? You are always bounded, right? If you are doing really good things, you are bounded by the good karmas, and your chain, you are bound with the golden chain, right? But chain is chain, right? You don't get freedom. You are still bounded, even if you're bounded with the metal chain or a gold chain, you are bounded. So if you do good karma, you don't go beyond shubh and ashubh, then what happens is you are stuck in, oh, I need to do good karmas. So what happens is you go to heaven, do good karmas, then after a little while, what happens? that your good karma exhausts and you have to come back and start your life again, and then start achieving good and bad karmas, and you get stuck into that. Right? Now, here God is saying that if you do those, what you do, like if you offer everything, all your action to God, all your penance to God, all your charity to God, then what happen is you come out of this shubh ashubh thing, good and bad karma, and you get out of it. And then what happens is when you get out of it, you attend me. So you go directly to Brahmaloka. You don't go to the middle of these lokas, all these Swargalok and all the Tapaloka and all those loka. You don't go there. You directly go to Brahmaloka, and then you only come back when with the purpose. If God sends you back, you come with the purpose. You don't come because of bad and good karma, right? So you get free from there. Okay, let's do slok number 29. Sean, you want to do it?
Samoham sarvabhuteshu
Samoham sarvabhuteshu
na me dveshosti na priya
na me dveshosti na priya
ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya
ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya
mayi te teshu chapyaham
mayi te teshu chapyaham. Samoham sarvabhuteshu na me dvesho iti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham.
Sama, equally disposed. Aham, I. Sarvabhuteshu, to all living entities. Na, no one. Me, to me. Dvesha, hateful. Asti is. Na, nor. Priya, dear. Ye, those who. Bhajanti, render transcendental service. Tu, but. Mam, unto me. Bhaktya, in devotion. Mayi, are in me. They, such persons. Deshu, in them. Cha, also. Api, certainly. Aham, I.
Okay, good. Great. So he says, I am equally present in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. They, however, who devotedly worship me, abide in me, and I too stand revealed to them. So now he is saying, so God, you know, after listening to all these things, somebody will come and say, okay, people who worship God, then God loves them, and all the other people who don't worship him, he doesn't love them, and he doesn't do good to them. And that's how God is very selfish. If you love, he loves you back, but if you don't love him, then he doesn't love you and he doesn't do anything for you. God is saying, no, that's not the case. He is saying that I don't hate anybody, I don't love anybody more, right? All equally, I love them all equally. You are worshipping me, I love you. You don't worship me, I still love you, right? So you would see that question comes to many people that, oh, this person is not even spiritual or not even following the dharma, and still he is so happy and he gets everything, and I don't get anything. I do so much prayer and I do so much things, but I don't get anything. But this person who doesn't do anything and he gets all the things. That's the time when you should think about it. This slok saying that, okay, God doesn't love anybody. God is saying that it's not the case that I love somebody, I don't love somebody. When you see that, oh, this person is so happy, he gets everything, he has everything, he's the kids are, this guy is so smart, he gets number one, but he's not even a nice person, and he is on the top of everything, he doesn't even worship anybody. All those things, when you start calculating, you're calculating on it on worldly basis, right? Now these things are your karmas and result of karmas. This person became very intelligent. He did not become intelligent after coming here. God gave him brain before he came here, right? And he became intelligent, right? And he does really well in this in his studies because of some of his past karma were so good that he got this wealth or his brain or his knowledge and everything that came to him, right? So when you talk about these things, you are talking about the worldly things. But think about that. It's our life, our this worldly life, that as a human that we got this body mind complex is not just one, it's a very tiny thing in this entire world, right? Very, very tiny thing. You have lived this kind of life many times, thousands of the times that you had came and did some action and went back and came back again in a different body, then came back in the different body and came back in the different body. So you have lived this life so many times and you have achieved so many karmas, good and bad, you have done it. And again, we say that we don't know which karma Bhagwan took and put it in our body and send it to us. Which life's karma, good or bad, and then he put it in there and the life start coming in the next, right? So when we think about that way, we think that he got so much even though he is not spiritual. Probably he is not spiritual in this life because something he did not do well in that, and he will suffer somewhere else or something else. And sometimes we feel this person is so happy from outside, but when you go and look into him, he is not happy at all. So a lot of things, think about it in a bigger picture. In a bigger picture, this life, which this body and mind is not ours, but even if we think this is me and I'm not happy and that other person is so much happy and he is not even doing anything, he might have done something really good in his past life that is rewarding him right now. So but again, this body, mind and intellect it's not mine. Why am I worried so much on this life when I have lived the same kind of life thousands times, and this will also go away and I will have another life coming in, right? So when we focus so much on this world, we are losing our focus on the bigger picture, right? So again, what we say that Shubha Ashubha, whatever you did, if you continue to rotate in this, that I want to do good and bad, then you will stuck in this birth and death cycle. If you want to come out of it and see a bigger picture, a wider picture from up there, then you have to not respond on the worldly basis, on the worldly things, right? So God is saying that I don't give special treatment to somebody, or I don't give non-special treatment to somebody. Everybody is equal to me, right? Now, before in this chapter, he said all in me, but I am not in all. You guys remember that? Long time back we had this discussion that God says all is in me, but I am not in all, right? That's the stage one. Now he is saying all these bhaktas are in me, right? He says that they abide in me and I stay with them. I am in them, right? So now he is saying the second level of things. So you do all these things. First he said that I am in all, but all are in me and I'm not in all, right? So that's the first stage of bhakti. Now the bhakta becomes this person who is devoting all his action, everything he does to God. He's surrendering everything. He is devoting everything in there. Then what happens is, then God says that I am in them too, right? I am in them. So the mindset changes from there to now because our devotion increased, right? Our level of understanding of devotion increased. So that's what he is mentioning here. So Shankaracharya gave a good example that a fire gives heat to everybody, right? It doesn't give less heat to somebody. Even sun, like we can take an example of sun. Sun is giving light and heat and the brightness to everybody, right? for taking the example of fire, so it doesn't make a discrimination of sun, doesn't make a discrimination that okay, this person I will give more heat and this person I will give less heat, right? The same way fire gives heat to everybody. Now if you are cold and you are sitting way in dark away from the fire, you will not get it. So for that you have to come close to the fire to get the heat, right? Now God says that you have to do the worship, devotion, surrendering, or one-pointedness worship, or understanding who I am, this Brahman, this knowledge, the Gyan. If you get that, doing meditation, anything that you do out of these 4 yogas, you are coming close to God and you get the warmth of God. Right? Otherwise, you don't get warmth of God. You can stay in the darkness of ignorance, far, far away from the fire. You don't get warmth, you don't get light. If you stay away from there, you don't get it. But as soon as you come close, then you get the warmth and the brightness of the fire and the light of the fire, right? The same way God is saying that if you come close to me, I take care of you, I carry you, I take care of all your needs. I am gonna, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna be in you. You're going to be in me and I'm going to be in you. So that's exchange will come when you come close to it, right? When you come close to the fire, then you see the warmth and the brightness of the fire, right? You got that one? So that's what, so he is saying, I'm not partial to anybody. But now what we have to do is, there are some people going to stay far in dark of ignorance, and some people will come close to the God, and then God will take care of them. Okay. What's the time, Raja? We have time to do one more? Oh, 36? Oh, sorry. But we started late today.
Try 5.
So it's time, right? Okay. Let's close it and we will start from what shlok we ended on? 29. So we will start 30 and hopefully next week we can finish this from 30 to 34. Let's say if we can do those 5 shloks next week. Okay, let's do it. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamshachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Krishna Paramastu.